Hey, Niktana here, and we're back with Edgeyberzerker for the second interview where we're going to deep dive into the content.
Oh boy.
So,
Hot takes.
first things first, I have
Yes.
to ask you about the one game that I actually did a computer scan afterwards and felt a little sick. I actually was sick watching it, and I had to go
Yep.
back to it, and it is
It's so
Battle
cursed.
Masters. What the
cursed
fuck?
game.
How did you find that?
Okay, so this one was the simple thing of PS1 fighting games in Google. And then I decided, okay, they're just showing American ones. I want Japanese ones. Show me the Japanese one. Then Battle Masters came up, and it came up with like the cover art. I'm like, okay. And I tried to look it up, but all I kept getting was like Gundam Battle Masters or something like that. I'm like,
I think it was a board game.
Yeah, something like that. So I was like, okay. I need to go on eBay and maybe I could just find it. Battle Masters PS1 fighting import. There it is. For $9 Canadian, free shipping. And I'm like, okay, let's give this one person in Japan some $9.
and save their soul.
The only good thing that came out of it was, I got a video out of it, in-depth Twitch stream, and someone in Japan made $9. And that theme song was actually really good.
There's so many things to touch on this, because I've been waiting about 5 fucking years to ask you about this goddamn game in depth.
Oh, and it's more funny because that video doesn't even cover the depth of it.
Really?
Apparently there's a mech building thing included where you can eventually become a mech and fight as a mech. I don't know how. I tried clearing it with every character. It is almost impossible to clear the game to begin with, but you try. And
see,
cursed.
I didn't know if it was build your character through their stats so you could make their attributes more effective.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like that.
I was laughing so hard because I appreciate some fan service, because I love seeing both male and female characters presented, for people like me that are a little more on the lewd side, but still it's here's the thing, and what I even said on my other interview, it's that even if people are not wearing a lot of clothing, it's still show respect, and it's not like they're asking to have the harassment or anything. It's just they're comfortable wearing it. So I love seeing it. That's why I loved Fox from Bloody Roar, because when I was younger, we'll cover that. But anyway, Fox from Bloody Roar.
Fox is amazing. I stand Fox.
That's the other part I wanted to touch too. But the point is, it's I loved his outfit. In Battle Masters, okay, for one, the girl scares the shit out of me. Two,
that's
the guys
very uncanny valley.
The guys have a weird peckage kind of going on.
Yeah.
And I was appreciating it and terrified at the same time, because I get what it was kind of they were going for a cyber-ish a cyber-ish biohazard
dystopia.
Yeah. And then the anal trains, that was another thing. And then you go and you're greeted by the image of the guy flashing the pecs. It's the same guy, just different skin.
And he's beatboxing, basically.
Yeah. But what scared me is when I saw the girl, and I was like, this is a product of the sins of humanity, because someone thought this is what we asked for sex appeal. And it was
this is what you wanted, right? No.
Her oh my god, I watched your battle, I got sick. I don't know what it was. It was the imagery. They're so abstract. It was like watching a Picasso fighting.
Now, imagine trying to control it, because one thing that's hard to talk about is control. And much like Fist, you are not in control. You think you are, but then you're like, I hit a button and it's not doing what I'm supposed to.
See, I didn't know if it was I didn't know if it was that slow because it was just you didn't have many moves, or if it was when I saw you attacking, I was like, this is like watching someone fuck Jello.
It controls the controller was dipped in molasses.
So it's
the best way I can describe it.
The movements not responsive or something?
It felt like your buttons were slowed down, even though they're not. And
oh god.
Yeah, it's just control is such a hard thing to describe, because it's a game could look amazing, but if the control is terrible. Yeah, Criticom. That's like a factor in it just not working.
Would you say that game's worse or Criticom?
I'm gonna say Battle Masters is probably like the worst I've ever played.
Yeah. See, Criticom, when I first got it, I saw Demonica and I loved her look, even though her head looks like a yam, as it said it in your video.
Yep, she looks like yam, but that's okay.
But I love the hooves and like the kind of I like playing as monsters. So when I saw her with the nails and the hooves, I loved the aesthetic when I was a kid. Then I played the game.
Yep.
When I watched the opening and then the opening cutscene, I was hype because I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I loved seeing like the graphical improvements. Of course, this is back in the day when, you know what I mean?
But those cutscenes are actually good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Those cutscenes are good.
The short story kind of thing, I just didn't get it because like I watched it over and over again. Like I put it on a loop because it's so short, and I wanted to see like the Demonica, was it? You know, like the voice coming out.
Yeah.
So it was epic, and then you get into the battle, and it's like commence battle, and then out of nowhere, you're literally like pressing shit, and nothing happens that's even worth anything. Yep. Then the fucking talk about unforgiving AI. They know what to do.
Yeah.
It pretty much feels like sumo wrestling, as I think one person put it, in like you just have to push the opponent out of the ring.
Yeah.
That's
all you can do. Because all they do is block.
Yeah.
And there's no way to get them out of block, and then they know how to counter you, and it's like, well, what's the point of this? And it's ironic though, because I remember we rented the N64 game Dark Rift.
I love Dark Rift.
Which is made by this. And you know what? I love Dark Rift. That game's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna replay it and see if it still holds up, but I have a feeling it will.
Anything holds up better than okay. So it's known as a trilogy. So it's the Dark. It's Criticom, Dark Rift, Cardinal Sin. Cardinal Sin's my fave. Because
I have not played Cardinal Sin, I'll be honest with you.
Oh my god, it is. If you like gothic, edgy stuff, it's there's a character in it by Morphia, and its whole, and I say it for a reason, its whole shebang is like there's two people in Sin's dungeon, and she splits them in half, a guy and a girl, black and white, and fuses them together.
Ooh.
And I love like characters like Hel from Norse mythology, and like half and half characters and stuff like this. So I love the whole aesthetic of that character. But out of them all, okay, Dark Rift still felt like it was Criticom 2.0 with the characters. Like it had Demonica, it had the scaly guy, then your hero woman.
But it worked.
Yes. And
that's the thing.
Was not as, how do I put this? It had, even though it didn't have the cinematic value, except if maybe you played the one that was for disc. I had the N64 version, so it was the still frame. Still looked good.
Yeah.
And played better.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. You know, in Dark Rift, you can see that, you know, like from Criticom, like Criticom was trying. It was trying to build lore in that. It's just that they forgot to program the fighting part.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about the game Fist too. Like they had some like, you know, characters and lore and art and everything, but then they just forgot to actually put the fighting feels engine secondary. In. Yeah, but man, I'm glad they blew the budget on the music though. The soundtrack is killer.
I'm trying to think of because even Criticom, I liked the music too as well. It had like a haunting cyber feel to it, which again, there's something to be said of like it in its proof. Pretty aesthetics do not hold the game. It's core gameplay that matters the most. And when people like bitch about like a game looks crusty or the graphic, it's no. If a game functions well, I can look past the shitty graphics.
Yeah, it's like what was it, King of Fighters 14? People were complaining about the but people were complaining about the look because it's not the 2D art, It's like it's disappointing. It's not the art, but man, this game's fun. Another one that I can actually put in the fun factor part is Marvel Infinite. It had I never played that one. Yeah, that's okay. Not a lot of people did. It has like a very dodgy aesthetic. Like it looks like it's a mobile game. Like However, when you play it, you're like, can't deny it. This is fun.
See, when I saw what they did with Chun-Li, I was like, why did she scare me? And then Morgan, my two mains. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck happened to these character models?
How they managed to make Morgan look worse than her sprite they kept reusing.
I know, her fucking 2D sprite. Even in fucking Marvel vs. Capcom 2, amazing fucking game. Love the character select screen music. But Morgan's fucking model, it was almost like they made
Capcom versus SNK 2.
Well, isn't it funny how her fucking model looked better in the fucking Darkstalkers, like the first one, and then they like when they transferred it was all like blurry and shit.
Yeah, it's like they had the JPEG artifacts because they couldn't find the actual clean image.
And it was sad because like I feel like some of her animations, her little like frame thing kind of split in some areas. Like it was Guilty Gear fucking XX for 360.
Yeah.
It just was like, here, you like Morgan? Good. Well, here's like a Cortana remnant of it.
Enjoy. But
Darkstalkers, they need to make another one. I love that fucking game.
Yeah, it's funny because when I played Darkstalkers on my channel, that was the first time playing Darkstalkers itself.
I remember that.
Yeah. Because, that was one of those ones I missed out on completely because I lived in a small town, so I didn't have an arcade, and when I went to the arcade, it was in the city, and so I only had like a few hours, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
And then at least like the one convenience store, they would have an arcade cabinet in there, so that's how I played Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter and Street Fighter Alpha 1, but then they stopped carrying the arcade cabs, and it's just like,
Okay, so now we shall cover Raito Kuzunoa versus the Soulless Army.
Yes.
What was the inspiration for bringing that to the channel? Because it's a tasking thing to play an RPG and then post it on YouTube because there's so many damn episodes. But I say that with a lot of respect because I applaud that you can do it. I still don't think I can.
Well, with JRPGs, I'm gonna admit those are not the most watched things on my channel at all. That's why I kind of moved. But that's why I have moved it more to Twitch streaming, which has been actually more popular. So hey, but Raito Kuzunoa, I love the Shin Megami Tensei game. There was a time when like I was like cynical, like after Final Fantasy 13 came out, I got a little cynical about JRPGs and where they were going. And then a friend of mine's like, hey, have you ever heard of this game called Persona? And I was like, no. So here, try Persona 3. Okay. And then I fell in love with the series and I went down the rabbit hole of everything SMT. And Raito is awesome because actually that's one of the more shorter ones. I think that's only like a 26-hour game, so it's like kind of akin to Chrono Trigger in length. And I just like the whole like story of just like that character that's like just each generation has a Raito.
Yeah.
And he's a summoner and he takes care of like all the weird happenings that normal people can't see. And I fell in love with that story, and like he has a cat with him, and come on. I haven't played the sequel yet though. That's the crazy part. I have it. Just haven't played it yet.
See, I love the aesthetic when I first saw it because it looked like
Kaneko's art is so gorgeous.
Well, I mean, like the 3D models and stuff like that, they reminded me of the game. The RPG that I loved for PlayStation 2 era was called Shadow Hearts. The first one,
which I need to play because I found out Kodelka is related to the Shadow Hearts series.
See, I
love Kodelka.
I never played that one, but I think someone mentioned that to me when I said I didn't know it. They were surprised because I love Shadow Hearts, but sadly, like a lot of games when I was in PlayStation 2 era, it was just literally what I could find that was just a whatever appealed to me from the case, and Shadow Hearts was a gift. But I love dark gothic, gory, twisted stuff, and those were a lot more on the rare side. And then when I saw an RPG like that, I was like, oh my god. Yeah,
it's interesting. The PS2 era experimented a lot, which I have really enjoyed about that. Because we wouldn't have games like Katamari also out of it either. And then it like just was like, okay, let's try these different ways to tell a story as well. And that's kind of where like the rare survival horror games also fit in too, like Fatal Frame and Rule of Rose, which is a very rare game, but I own it. Yes. And even like Haunting Ground and that as well. And it's just interesting. And they even released what was it, FromSoft, the Dark Souls guys. They have a survival horror game called Kuon. Good luck finding a physical copy now, though. But they do have one, and I played a ROM of it, and it's good.
See, I missed out on a lot of like, because like my when I started my channel, like I'm primarily known mostly as a furry artist, probably, but
yeah,
for me, it's like let me organize my thoughts. I'm like, I see. My problem is I think of like 3 things at once, and I try to organize the same. But yeah, no, horror theme stuff I've always loved. I'm not immune to jump scares, but like, for me, when I was younger, I love Halloween, and just like anything horror. And when I found horror levels in games, or when I found like horror games in general that were in different genres, like, oh my god, that's just like I was blown away. And when I first came across Shadow Hearts, that was like just like, again, it was like RPG and horror. But one of them that kind of came off creepy and was RPG and a little mix of horror, I guess, was also have you ever heard of Eternal Eyes?
Eternal Eyes? I don't think
it's a PlayStation 1 more tactics game. You have puppets, and you animate them by getting these life orb kind of things, but you can combine them and make different creatures. That's another thing I loved creating, or not creating. I loved games where you could play as monsters, and like why Rhino kind of appealed to me, because I was like, oh my god, it's you can use monsters and shit like that.
Yeah, you can you have to either bribe friendship, get like one of them going, I'm going to join your party whether you like it or not, or just like things like that, and then you can fuse them and make them stronger. See, I love that.
See, I played Beast,
and I think that's why I like. Yeah, and I think that's why I like Shin Megami Tensei a lot now that I got into it more. Like Persona series is great, but that is its own thing. It's more lighthearted fare in a sense. But like the darker storyline, like the actual mainline SMT, is always an apocalypse. I'm so hyped for the 5th one that's coming out for the Switch. That one looks like it has basically non-binary hero summoning demons. And was it Strange Journey Redux? That was probably my game of the year in 2019 on my 3DS, because I played the hell out of that, because I loved the dark tone of the whole story. It's basically like a black hole appeared in the Antarctic, so they sent like a special ops down to get there, and then basically shit gets fucked.
Yeah.
And then you have a choice to either joining the angels, joining the demons, or you're your own person in your neutral route. Yep, and I love that so much. I love the dark storytelling. It's just so good.
Have you played Biomutant?
Well, I mean,
like when you said like the choosing this different, so I was iffy on it, but as I like collecting furry content, so I was like, fuck it. And my scaly companion, he said, oh, I'll watch it if you stream it, and I was like, fuck. So I couldn't deny the scaly, because like he's the whole reason I even started my channel in the first place, because he said I was never going to do YouTube. I was going to just do my art. He simply said, people will find you funny, mainly because he loves watching me suffer in games. But afterwards, it was
YouTube in general likes watching you suffer with games. I learned that one.
Yeah. Fucking algorithm is just a mess.
Oh.
But
YouTube doesn't even know the algorithm, so it's out of control now. It's sentient. It's our god.
So God, what is your favorite RPG and what is your least favorite?
My favorite JRPG. You know what? I'll get back to that one.
Okay. What's your least?
Least favorite? You know what? I would say Chrono Cross, but I think I was playing it at the wrong time. The same with Final Fantasy 13. I was playing it at the wrong time, expecting too much out of it. Because I replayed 13 and I realized I actually like this and the story and the characters. I need to give this more of a chance. And then my PlayStation died and I lost my save.
Yeah.
So that's when I'll play it again eventually. But right now I'm like, oh, it stings. Yeah. And Chrono Cross, I could tell you like things I don't like about what made me not like it, I guess. Where you could like get party members, but then if you do one thing differently, you miss out on one, but you can get another, but then you can't go back and get them. Mm-hmm. Or people just join saying, oh, I like the look in your eye, I'll just join your party. And what about just having a story, backstory? No. Okay, I guess you just joined me. That's cool. So I guess I got more annoyed with like secondary characters not being extremely secondary and optional. Where if you had an actual plot, it'd be cool. But yeah. But I feel like I'm gonna change my tune if I replay it, because I have a feeling I might actually like it if I play it again.
Gotcha.
But I mostly avoid tactic games.
Oh, I love those.
Because I'm just terrible at them. I think I just need to like say put in Disgaea and follow like online how to play it step by step, and then eventually I'll understand. Okay, and best RPG, because I had to think about it for a minute, because that one changes, because like I would like say a month ago I would have told you SMT Strange Journey Redux. I'm playing Dragon Quest XI right now. That one is like a 10. That game's so good. I'm not even done it yet, and it's just like, oh, this is so good, because I care about the characters like I did when I was playing like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI, which are my absolute favorites, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And I care about the characters a lot in it and that, and it's just like, and also the creation of the character Slavando is just the best character in the world. Fight me.
I'll have to look at these. I don't think I've ever played, to be honest.
Oh, it's so charming.
Did you ever
it
play
has
Breath of
like
Fire?
You know what? I played it when it first came out and rented it for a weekend. I do need to replay that one though. I have it on my Super Nintendo Mini, and yeah. I mean, I modded my Super Nintendo Mini, but we don't need to talk about that.
Because like I thought like, wait, I wonder if they, because like that was an obscure one that I didn't think many people knew. Because like for RPGs, like I hate saying it, like most of them were Final Fantasy that I was playing.
Oh yeah, that's the same with me.
Was another one.
I'd say Final Fantasy was like the big one for me. Chrono Trigger, even though it's still Square property, was the other one. But then I'd say like around like 2012 was when I started to branch out more and discover more. And on the subject of Koudelka, what I liked about that one is, first off, it's a PS1 game, late game. Probably the best voice acting I've ever heard on a PS1. No sarcasm. It was like great voice acting. It's a survival horror and JRPG combo, and you can't go wrong with that, and it's really cool.
I guess the last RPG to ask is like, have you played Legend of Dragoon?
I've heard of it. I want to dabble in with it.
Okay, I had to mention that because that was another.
It's one on my list to definitely try out. I think it's on the PSN store. I'm not sure. Either way, I can play it in some manner.
Is the PS3 store still available?
Yes, they went back and they were like, sorry, we didn't realize how much you guys love these. We'll keep
games.
It up. It's like, yeah, you better, motherfuckers.
See, that's why I wanted a PlayStation 3 just for those, and I didn't.
I wonder, though, if they realize, oh, these are popular. Maybe we should find a way to get these playable on PS5.
Yeah. Wait, don't they have compatibility?
For PS4 games right now.
Oh, I thought.
But you know what? I would be so happy if they just decided, you know what? Fuck it. We'll make for the digital store at least. We'll make it backwards. And you know what? That's all I want.
Because like there are games that like there are a few of them like my discs are kind of like they're
borked.
So, and I've had them since the fucking 90s.
Yeah.
So I want to archive them, and then it's just a matter of like, why aren't these companies properly archiving them for digital release, and yet they have such a stick about people trying to get them through other means? Because it's like, how else are they going to survive?
That's how what I don't understand about like a Nintendo like doing DMCA claims left and right. When like, they're not making these games available for us to purchase, because we will be happy to purchase them.
Yep.
And yet you're not making profit from the collectors that are selling these either. So what's the problem? Because collectors like which are like eBay or whatever, they're selling them, right?
Oh, I thought you meant collectors like collector's editions. Whoops.
No. Like I'll use Rule of Rosa as an example because that's the most expensive game I own, and I bought it for $9 brand new.
I think I heard the story, but that wasn't in a bin.
Yeah, just bargain bin, like clearance. Get it out of here. I'm like, sweet, this looks like survival horror. Sat on my shelf. I played it when I had this rough time in my life. Then it was like kind of like healing process. And then I was like curious because I was like, let's see what this game's worth. $300?
That's like when I was looking for Diablo 1
and now it's worth $600.
Really?
But the thing is, he might even be on $700 at this point.
Aren't they doing a remake?
But the thing is, you know what? The company was asking about it. They might do remasters.
Which I'm excited. I was just wondering, like if that was the case.
What? I'm gonna be completely honest with it. The controls aren't great, but I will defend that also because you are playing a girl from the 1930s who's a teenager, going through her memories, her trauma from back then. Mm-hmm. So yes, she would not be exactly the best fighter in the world.
Well, when I saw
the whole story is dark. The best way I could say is if you have a trigger, you've been warned. Yeah. And it's super rare only because an Italian magazine didn't play the game and just released one of those articles that said, oh, it contains this and this and this and it's corruption of children and think of the children, and so they got banned in Europe, so then it became a rare game because of that.
Oh, so they stopped production.
All because just because of the stupid article that didn't even play the game. And that's the one that I don't want to stream or play on YouTube unless we have a serious talk about it.
Yep.
Because I don't want jokey jokes happening throughout, because it's like one of those games where it's like there's a lot of like stuff in the background that you gotta pay attention to, and there's imagery, and it's basically art.
I watched a little bit of it, and it was there's some of it that made me uncomfortable, but
yep, that's the game.
The appreciation I have it is because I'm very much for symbolism, and like games like Silent Hill or just like when I look at like darker art in general, and I love looking at the there's beauty in the representation of like dark arts of showing life is not
there's beauty in its cruelty.
Yeah.
Like, I even think there's beauty in its cruelty. Like, I watched this art house anime. I'm not going to say the title of it because I don't want people seeking it out, because it is horrifying to watch. And I do respect that the person who made it animated it by himself. Because he couldn't find anyone who wanted to work on it with him.
Well, see, it's like, for me, it's like the appreciation of, like, I don't agree with a lot of art, but I don't like damning it either, because it's like, I draw furry. Yeah.
I have no issues drawing hentai and like cheesecake stuff. Like, I have no issues at all. But I know other people would, you know?
Yeah. But see, for me, it's like, I hate doing that because I don't need that shit pushed back at me for what I draw. And it's like, exactly. It might not be hit now, but I think of like 10, 20, 30 years. And if I drew the shit I drew now, it would have been fucking blown up. So I appreciate that it's a lot more open-minded, but it's still, sexuality and mental health are very much topics of taboo still, which it's depressing. But when it comes to the art of representation of like Rule of Rose, the aesthetic of like the models, the overall like I appreciate the appeal. The content is what made me a little uncomfortable. I will admit that made me sick.
Yeah, and as I said, if you had a trigger, you are warned.
I just want to make sure because I know, like, if people are listening, it's like, if you even look it up, just be warned. Like, when I looked at it, I knew what I was getting into. I just wanted to make, but I have a thirst for knowledge of, like, even if I don't agree with something, I want to know just so I'm not talking on my ass when I'm actually stating the topics. Because I want a little bit more subject matter of, like, describing to someone why it may be uncomfortable, because I actually looked, I saw, not just saying like, oh, this game, I heard it was like this, so therefore I think it's like this.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, it was the I heard part that made that article do what it did, and then oops. It's like And then Haunting Ground's cool in the sense that, like, at first when you see how Fiona's costume is, you're like, oh god, they're going for like titties and showing off her legs and da.
Yeah.
But then you realize, oh no, the villains around her are sexualizing her. She didn't have a choice to wear that outfit she put on.
Mm-hmm.
She is like the sassiest protagonist. She's pretty great. She's like actually a good character. And you realize, oh, it's everyone else around her that's sexualizing her, not you and her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool in that sense too.
I still have to watch that one as well.
Face value. That one's not too bad on the content wise, but it is like stranger danger in some parts.
Again, I love horror, but I'm not immune because like when I watch something, even look at something artistically, it goes to a very emotional place because I want to connect with the world. But when I'm watching it, and I am connecting too far into it. I don't.
Yep.
I internalize it too much to where I'm like, no, I can't go this deep into it because it's making me sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when I'm creating characters, or I like to, as I'm drawing them, be the character and try to represent them through the art in that way. So if I am even to go like say Rule of Rose, when I was watching some of the shit, I was internalizing it too much, and I was like, nope, I gotta stop. I gotta watch this in bursts.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely not one of those, I'm gonna marathon this and I'm gonna feel good after. No, you're gonna watch it maybe like 30 minutes at a time, and you need a palate cleanser. Here's Yoshi's Woolly World.
Have you heard of the game, and this is talk about like on the subject, Thrill Kill. Have you ever heard of that title?
I have heard of that one. I've heard of it when it first came out and then was canceled.
Yep.
I had blurry pictures in EGM, and then I found out someone found like the demo thing or whatever. And Maximilian was the first time I saw it because he covered it on one of his old videos. Yep. And I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is all that the complaints were about?
Again, it was the 90s and fucking...
I know.
It's
just funny though, in hindsight. You look at that, and then you look at, say, Mortal Kombat 11. Look back at that. Mortal Kombat 11, you're like, okay, guys.
Well, even Mortal Kombat at the time, though, I think the only thing was, like... Again, it kind of goes back to, like, the mental health and sexuality thing being such a stigma in our society.
Yeah, I know.
Like, both of them... were swept under the rug as if they were going to go away if people suppressed them. I only feel that it heightened them. The taboo made it more of a thrill. In other cases, it really is responsible for a lot of the horrible behavior of people that did not know how to evolve as people with these either kinks or how to handle emotions. Think of how when we were younger. Oh, you're fine. You're just quirky. You're eccentric. You don't have problems. It's shaming away from getting the help you need. And then when something bad happens as an adult and you don't know how to express it or deal with it, it's like, oh, shit, why didn't this person get help? Because both were so... Or even like with sexuality and like furry or like trying to... I hate having the argument of like trying to separate bestiality from the furry. I fucking hate it so much.
Oh my god, it's annoying.
So,
you know what's funny? I didn't understand furries for a long time, okay? And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn a little bit about this because I don't get it, but you know what? I'm going to see what it is about, right?
Yeah.
And then I learned like, okay, it's actually very popular with the gay community. Interesting. And then it's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not for me, but I get it now. Cool. You do you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So that's like with like a lot of things. It's like, and especially when it comes to the art, that's where I really get irritated because it's like, I'm not gonna damn someone from like say like if there's a lot of like, for example, I think it's called Guro, like the bloody anime.
I know exactly what
scares the fuck out of me. Like I can't do cute and bloody.
Nope.
So when I see that, it's like, okay, here's the thing. A lot of it is fucking well drawn, but oh my.
It's too well drawn.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
But I'm not going to damn the people drawing it because it's like, I don't have to support the artist. I don't have to look at it because I don't want that shit coming back to my furry art.
No.
So.
And you know what's interesting? Like, I do commissions and that. And I admit, I actually say, don't ask me for furry art, but it's not because I'm like grossed out by it. It's because I know there's artists that can do it way better than I can.
Oh. But then again, art is subjective, so.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I know like I can do it, and that's not a problem because I'm heavily influenced by like Warner Brothers old animation. But it's not like when I do, it's like it looks like someone's attempting it. Where if you see a furry artist, that's a furry artist. They know what they're doing. Yeah. You know, that's the best way to put it.
The only thing I could say as an argument towards that, and I'm not devaluating what you're saying.
Yeah,
just keep in mind,
no worries.
Because like when
if someone really, really wants me to do it, I'm totally okay. If they're like, please, I trust you, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's also the thing of like every artist has their style, and
exactly.
You're seeking them out, even if it's not their field. You're seeking them out because you want that person, their skills to do it, and you want a piece.
Yeah.
Some people do it for the
that's exactly
the talent, or some people do it for the name. So it's really a matter of who's seeking you out. I know a lot of people that are VTubers and stuff, and I'm like, fuck.
I know. I actually want to kind of learn that because it's like, oh, I kind of want that because that'll enhance my strength. Yeah, but at the same time, like maybe I should just make that a Patreon goal so I can hire an animator that do it.
Have you thought of doing a PNG, just like a little like an Edgey character on the side?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I was looking at tutorials about it. It's something I'm gonna have to figure out in July, I think.
Scares me, like the skeletons of them. Like, oh my god, yeah, I could draw, but I can't fucking like.
Thing is, I might be able. I have a friend who might be able to help me, so it's like, oh,
yeah,
because she does a lot of the rigging. So, and she just streams it and does it, and it's like, damn, getting really good at it too.
All right, and now for the last question, Edgey.
Yeah.
Toshinden.
Yes.
Now,
my real house.
Let us go from the best to the worst.
Okay.
What are your opinions in like a brief 3 top things of what you like about each? But let's start with the worst.
Okay. Which one do I think's the worst? Yeah, I gotta say Nito Shinden, the kids one.
And what do you like about that? Like 3 things, if you can.
You know what? I can totally say 3 things actually. The art style is actually really good. The fact that it has like endings, like actual endings with artwork in that, also A+. The music's always good in that one too. And the character selection, like you got for like characters that we know, you have Edgey, Ellis, Sophia, and Tracy. Vermilion's secret character, but you don't get to really play him, so that's a hit against it. And then they got like other like OCs, but it, like I guess one was like based off of like Takara's like doll line that they have or something. Everything you learn, right? But you know, I don't like hate it, but it's just that the controls are really weird because like you jump, but you do a small jump, but then you jump again, and it does like a bouncing effect, and that throws you off.
Is like
and
a weight
the balance
thing?
in it,
like for like how high you jump and then you come down.
It's like it's a very bouncy game if you look at it. Like literally, like things like do like a bounce motion, and then you jump. It's like a rubber ball almost, and it's weird. And the balance in that is garbo.
All right, what about the next one? What would you say is like after that?
The next verse?
Subaru.
Yeah, I'd say Subaru only because of again it's the control thing and the downgrade for graphic.
Do you think it was because of all the flashy effects versus the model aesthetic?
I think so.
And
yeah,
plus it's slow from all of the flash.
Yeah, all the slowness in that. So like, it was almost like, okay, we're gonna try to do Toshinden 2, but we forgot how. And then, but again, I respect that they did a story mode thing and everything, and that story mode was actually all I ever wanted from previous Toshindens. Also, Vermilion with the bazooka. Yeah.
So
Vermilion with the bazooka. Yes. However, again, it's like, and also the fact that it never came out in North America officially, that thumbs down on that because I probably would have loved it if it came out. I probably would have been the only person who bought it, but still.
What about the Wii Master, as you put?
You know what? The Remake's not a bad game at all. It's not a good Toshinden game, but it's a good game.
I thought it was Toshinden name only. Like,
yeah, Toshinden adjacent, because it does have the Sword of Byakko, Edgey sword, and it does have the Shinjo name.
Yeah.
It has your Ellis-like, it has your Sophia-like, it has your Vermilion-like. Billy is a great character, though. I marked out when he showed up in the story mode. However, the Kain character feels more like what's the ice guy's name in Blaze Blue?
Jin.
It feels more like Jin.
Kisaragi,
yeah, it feels very Blaze Blue, which is the weird part. And that's where I'm like, this doesn't feel like Toshinden, and it doesn't really have anything to do with it. Cool aesthetic, though. Cool anime aesthetic. Everything, like the look of it and everything, it controls great, too, I might add. It's more like those 3D Naruto games, but still, it controls well. But it's not a good Toshinden.
What about the third one? Because that one had a huge roster.
You know what?
Even though they were kind of like...
I love the third one a lot. I understand why it took a hit in graphics because there were so many characters. But good, I did... It looks great. It's cool that it had that 60 frames mode, too. Because that was the first time.
Notice that one.
Yeah, it's like less frames? Backgrounds. Yeah, it's less backgrounds, but smoother animations. And it plays like water. It's so good, though. It's like a nice thing to kind of check out. I would love to see someone actually mod the visuals of the game without the 60 frames, but then put it to the 60 frames. That'd be cool.
So when I was watching it, like I had no idea they existed. Like I only thought there was the first one in the remix because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
But when I saw your channel, again, that's why I bring up Toshinden as the best for last topic is because that's a staple. And you pretty much, when I was watching yours,
I know it like the back of my hand.
So if I go anywhere, like that's why, like if you run out of Toshinden stuff, it's like, damn, I'm kind of sad. But then you find something new, and it's like, oh thank God.
Yeah. And then there's like, I didn't really cover the original PlayStation one, so I was like, I should do that. It's kind of like the final hurrah until I can get a new one, because fingers crossed for a remake someday. Come on, Tamsoft, use your Senran Kagura dollars. Do it, you cowards.
I think the only thing about the third one is like there was a lot of flashing, and it kind of like bugged with me a little for some reason.
Oh, because that was when they didn't give a shit about epilepsy.
Oh. What about the second one? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Toshinden 2 is my absolute favorite, I'm going to say.
Is that because of Vermilion?
Partially, but also because the visuals, like, even for a PlayStation, look great. The soundtrack is whopper. It's a great soundtrack. I love the characters. Everything about, like, every character has their personality, and you can tell even if you don't know Japanese in that. And it's just so good.
Can we talk about the live action intro?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
That thing's so cheesy, and I love it. And I have the OVA book, and it has also the making of that and some photos. Great.
It had Resident Evil 1 feelings when I saw the open up. But yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is real.
And I also just like to shoehorn another Toshinden fun fact. The anime, when it was released on DVD, was the first bilingual anime.
Really?
It was the first one that had the dub and the Japanese on it.
Interesting. Like, I think I've only watched one episode of the Toshinden anime.
I didn't mind it. I know that the budget was low because it was made the same time as Voltage Fighter Go Kaiser that the director was doing at the same time. So if you do some comparison shots, it reuses some of those shots.
The one I couldn't bear was the Samurai Showdown one, and I love Samurai Showdown.
Oh,
but
that one was garbage.
We'll save that one because let's just go back to Toshinden, something better than that.
Yeah.
But and finally, what about the first one?
First one, obviously that was the gateway drug.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that the Game Boy has a Toshinden.
Yep, the 2D one. I remember that.
And proves that you could do it in 2D, and that was my dream to have a 2D fighter of it.
The music of the 8-bit was good on those fucking remixes.
So good. So good. And I'll forgive them for changing the gender of Rungo's son.
What?
Yeah, they translated it wrong. They said daughter, but it was like, nah, it's a boy, and you know it. But yeah, like Toshinden 1 was the gateway drug. I remember seeing like it was Game Fan magazine. It had like the PlayStation feature. It had a badly drawn Ellis with a bunch of other characters from like Twisted Metal and that on the cover. And there was a section, and it had artwork of Sho, and Sho was the gateway character. It's like, who is that? This looks cool. What is this? And next episode had next issue had Toshinden 2, and I'm like, holy crap, this looks great. I want this. I'm saving up for a PS1. So you can thank Game Fan for that.
All right. So this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for doing this again, Edgey. And for the viewers,
no problem.
is there anything that you left out from the last episode for like where they can find you or what to expect?
Basically, on depending when this gets posted up on YouTube, I'll be covering on Mondays. Mortal Kombat Gold still going, and I know I still have a lot for Soul Calibur 5. Virtua Fighter might be done by the time, but I'm not going to reveal the title only because it might still show up before that one's done. I'll just say that it is a familiar series that I'll be covering next. And then after Fist, because I know that'll be done by the time this is posted, I'll be covering Veritable Geo 2, something Kabbalistic Goddess something. It's not the Advanced VG2, which is the good PlayStation 1 game. It's the PC98 non-canon hentai one, where thankfully the only hentai I have to edit out is in the middle of every match I win, so I can easily cut that out.
Yep.
Because as much as I was able to do clever censoring in like the VG1 one-off I did, I can't do that with that one. There's too many white shots.
All right. So again, links will be in the description below. Make sure you check out Edgeyberzerker and support her on our platforms. And this is Niktana. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week.
Yeah. Bye.